All right, very fascinating responses there to your question of the day, which I nearly forgot. Still very fascinating. I'll get your responses on what you're saying on facebook.com/NTV Kenya, twitter.com/NTV Kenya, and 5505 in just a bit, probably in the next hour, because we have, like I mentioned, a very packed schedule here on PM Live today. We want to talk about social skills for business. Do you know you need those? Well, apparently you do, and there are people who understand that. Bbanga is from Public Image Africa, and the founder of Public Image in the UK, Diana Mather, is with us as well. Many thanks for coming in and speaking with us.
Oh, it's great.
So why does somebody need social skills for business?
Well, business is getting ever more competitive, and with the global recession, it's going to be harder and harder, especially for graduates, to get jobs.
Yes.
Because everyone is cutting down if they possibly can. So you need to stand out from the crowd. So we teach you how to do that. It can be something as small as how you sit. If I'm just not looking really interested,
Yes.
as against with a smile, looking as though I'm interested in what you're saying, it can make all the difference as to whether somebody wants to work with that person or not.
Wow, so does this mean in every single business situation, there's a norm, a way to act?
You know what it is? In a world where everybody has the same academic and technical qualifications, the people who are going to stand out are the people who have mastered these skills.
We all have
soft
MBAs.
skills. Yeah, we all have MBAs. So what's the difference? You walk into an interview and the person who's doing the hiring has a stack of resumes or CVs with all the same qualifications. They make that decision based on how that person behaves, whether they have the chemistry to work for that organization. So these are skills that Dan and I certainly feel are vital for any organization. And we've worked with people in manufacturing, hospitality, telecoms, banking. It doesn't matter whether they are politicians, athletes. So everything from networking to presentation skills, putting that sales pitch together, you know, media relations. All of these are areas that certainly public image and we think are important.
So it doesn't matter what industry you're in, whether it's engineering or what, but let's talk about networking, because this is a big business buzzword.
It is, and so many people do not make the most of it.
Yes.
Simple things like taking enough business cards. It sounds so obvious.
Right.
Well, you don't just target on the people you think, he's in banking, I might want a loan, or I might know somebody who wants a loan.
Yes.
You give your card to everybody, because you never know, that they may not do business with you.
Right.
But they might know a man who will.
Business cards, enough business cards. Here's my business card.
And
how do you hand it out? Yes.
Yes, and you hand it out, that's right, so I can read it.
Yes.
Now, in Japan, it's definitely with two hands, and because for the Japanese, this is part of your soul, part of your being.
Yes.
But it's no good to say, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
You look at it, because then I can actually see how senior you are.
Yes.
I can also see exactly where you're from, and I might have somebody else at this group who wants to meet you. Say,
Exactly, yes.
Larry, I must introduce you to John, because he is so-and-so, so-and-so.
Yes. So there's a certain way you hand it.
And then you keep it and you put it in your folder.
I need to practice this.
There you go.
Derek, my card.
Thank you very much. The other thing about business cards, Larry,
Yes.
some people will go to networking sessions and they will position themselves next to a bathroom and just hand out cards to people. I mean, that in itself is
I'll not pick your card.
self-defeating.
Yes.
The business card should be handed out when you have, it's the cementing of a relationship. We have had a conversation, we've discovered that we have some interest in terms of business, then I give you my business card and this is my way of contacting you. So handling the business card is actually very important. It is
And
delightful.
how do you present it? This, I have to say, is extremely nice.
Why,
it's
thank you.
it's a good quality business card holder, which is very, very important.
Yes. And then how do you're meeting strangers at a networking dinner, for example, how do you carry yourself?
We make up 90% of our minds about somebody within the first 10 to 20 seconds of meeting them. And the first thing we notice are clothes. So, if it's a formal event, you wear your best suit.
Yes.
Now, Derek is my model, because he is one of the best dressed
Very
men in
nice
Kenya.
suit, Derek. You're looking good.
But he looks after himself.
tailored.
He will get that suit tailored to fit him, which
Yes.
is quite possible to do without being too expensive, and making sure that shirts, shoes, ties are clean. Sounds obvious, but it's surprising how many people got a big blodge or something on the tie. Well,
Yes.
that says, if you don't take enough interest in yourself, you're probably not going to take enough interest in my business. That's why it's important.
Yes. Wow. So how do I introduce myself? I'm walking to a perfect stranger.
Well, introductions are very key. Again, we say that when you are introducing yourself, you want to come across as somebody that's more professional. That is your personal brand. So if you're introducing yourself as hi, Sasa, otherwise that sort of thing.
Mambo.
Exactly. You may look at that and say, you know, that's who I am, that's
very
me.
informal.
But you know what? If we're making up 90% of our minds the first 10 seconds, that first 10 seconds I'm thinking this person, probably not the most professional person. So greeting yourself in a professional manner, good morning, good evening, how do you do, whatever the case might be, sort of says to other people, wow, I'm dealing with a professional, I'm dealing with somebody who has a, a powerful personal brand.
Yes.
So we think that's vital, certainly a public image.
It is, and because we are becoming a global village, the world is getting smaller with the internet and everything else, which is how all my work comes, via the internet.
Right.
Then international etiquette, which is what I teach especially, is really important, so that everybody has a level playing field. So, and that comes down to things like table manners, because so much business is done over breakfast, lunch, dinner. But if somebody's scooping their food in that, it's not a happy sight.
Unsightly.
Eating should be very discreet so that we talk about business, and I'm not noticing how much food is going round in your mouth at the same time.
Yes. So how do you, there's this whole elaborate setup, it's dinner, and you can see the mustard over there, and you want something over that other side. How do you carry yourself at the dinner table?
Yes. So all of that is taught. We have a 2-day seminar coming up tomorrow and Friday, which will actually we'll be showing all those tips as how to be a good guest as well as a good host, and that's also very important.
Well, Larry, it's about confidence, really. If you're able to know the rules, so to speak. First of all, those rules, you can choose to ignore them if you don't want to. But if you know the rules, then you can focus on what you're good at. Business, dining, for example, networking, talking to other people. You're not fumbling around wondering what knife and what fork do I do.
Yes.
It is not about teaching you to be better than everyone else. It's about giving you the confidence so that you can do your business better.
It's tools for business. They are tools for business these days.
This is a very interesting conference. I should be able to attend. But having said that, interviews, this is even before you clinch the job. How do you go through the interview? You're walking in, you don't know how many people there will be there.
Preparation and research is vital, and you have to take time. And again, this is where the internet is absolutely incredible. You can even, go. I advise people to go to the building if they're not living too far away. Who is coming out of that building?
Right.
If they're all wearing uniforms and you can't bear the idea of wearing a uniform, then you're not going to fit in.
Yes.
So you go dressed for the occasion. If it's a smart suit, that's how you dress. But if you're going to an advertising agency, for instance, they'll want you to have some flair. They'll want to see your personality in your clothes.
Yes.
So it's a different image.
Wow. So how much would the classes like this cost, Derek?
Well,
let's talk the money. It's a business show.
Thank you for putting me on the spot. No, we've worked with several companies, leading companies, Fortune 500 companies here in Kenya.
Yes.
We always work within their budget. Our classes are definitely affordable, and it is something that a lot of businesses here in Kenya are recognizing, and they're saying, listen, we spend tons of money on branding our company. We don't brand our staff.
Yes.
We need public image classes to help us brand our staff so they can be the best they can be. When they step out of that building, when they're representing that company, whether it's a sales pitch, whether it's at a networking event, whether it's at a cocktail, they're actually putting the best foot forward.
Especially any country where tourism is important, and that's including
Kenya,
the UK and
big,
Kenya, absolutely. Customer service is so important. And people say, oh yes, we do customer service training, but not like public image do it. Because we have got to raise the self-esteem of every single person who works there and make them feel part of a team. That's really important, because the turnover of staff is enormous in hotels. But you need to have top-class customer service so you can charge top-class prices.
All right, because then you get to make more money. Everybody benefits. So does this mean that they're just group classes you can give individuals?
We do both. Yeah. We mainly do group classes. We work with, say we go into an organization, we work with their sales team, we work with their senior managers. But there are also individuals who come, CEOs, senior managers, politicians, as I mentioned, athletes who will come and they'll want, one-on-one training. So everything from dressing, body language, non-verbal communication. So we do both.
So why is image such a big, important deal in business?
Because look at the media. Unfortunately, what you see is not necessarily what you get. So you have to make sure that what people see is as near to what they get. Your public image is vital. We make up our minds so quickly about people. We often don't have time to go in depth to find out more. So it's up to us to be our shop window, to be our brand. And it's unfortunately, whether it's good or not, it's never been more important.
All right, so are Kenyans appreciating that whole and need to give them a tip-top image and shape?
A lot of Kenyans are now beginning to look at this as something that they actually need to come on board. It's not a nice to have, it is a need to have. I work with a lot of organizations that are just hired new staff. They will put them through that training. There are organizations which will come and say, we want you to train our staff every year. They are certainly appreciating, and this business is growing, not just in Kenya, but all of East Africa.
Simple things, if I can give one more question.
Yes.
What size is your neck? people buy shirts and they've no idea what their collar size is.
Yes.
It'll never look good. They have jackets whose sleeves are far too long. The length and height depends on the length of the jacket. Yes. So to look sharp and smart takes time. But once you get into the habit, Derek, you automatically buy correctly, don't you?
You don't appear on my set looking better than I am. No, I'm kidding.
Custom made, Larry. I'll introduce you to my tailor.
Well, we should talk, definitely. Let's finally talk about business negotiation. We've got to wrap this up. What is the norm when you're going for a business negotiation? You're trying to cut a deal.
Research. How does that company work? Who is that person? What is his or her background? Try and get under their skin as much as you can, so that you know what they want, and you don't talk to them about something they're not interested in. So you have to find out as much as possible what it is, or guess what it is they want from you. And for us as a company, I will go into a building and say, you are saying you're a #1 building, but I've come in to a very scruffy entrance hall. It's dark, it's dingy. That's my first impression.
Right.
So if that's already made, you've got to work uphill now. Whereas if the windows were clean, a bit of paint had been put on, it gives the impression immediately. So we're not just talking about people, it's the environment where they work that gives us the impression of whether the negotiations are going to be easy or not.
Your final words.
I'll say body language and non-verbal communication. We make up, as Diana said, 90% of our minds first. So we're looking at your clothes, that's the CV that you're wearing, but your body language, your gestures, your non-verbal communication, that smile, that handshake.
Yes.
Absolutely important, vital. This can actually make or break, and a lot of this is subconscious. It's not even that you're looking at somebody and saying, well, they didn't give me a good handshake, but you just think to yourself, this doesn't feel quite right. Absolutely important when it comes to negotiation.
How do you shake hands exactly? Because we're about to shake your hand.
Too hard, because I'm a woman with a softer, but that's, yes, one pump and firm grip, because it's a gesture of peace, trust and friendship, and trust being the most important thing. And it's probably the only time we'll have skin-on-skin contact.
Right.
So I can judge a lot. If somebody gives me a wet fish,
like this,
I know, yes, I can get in there. There's a weak point somewhere. Whereas if they give me something,
yes,
I know they are going to try and dominate.
So they'll probably do this to cover your hand as well.
Yes.
Yes.
So then you know you've got quite a worthy opponent, or a dominating opponent. So body language is vital, as Derek says.
All right, Diana Mather and Derek Bbanga, many thanks for dropping by. I used to be a salesman. Why didn't anybody tell me this? No wonder I wasn't very good at it.
Well, you're very good at what you do now.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for coming in and sticking with us.
Thanks for having us, Larry.
All right, this has been a very interesting interview. This is the sort of interviews you can only see here on PM Live. We need to now find out what you're saying on the social media feeds, facebook.com/NTV Kenya, twitter.com/NTV Kenya, and also, of course, SMS 55.